Countless times I've heard people say that there's no point in working a second job because you just lose it all to tax. Heck, even my wife says it. And yes, of course, tax is a consideration, but let me clarify once and for all that you still win. In this video, I'm going to explain to you how tax works on multiple incomes, illustrate to you exactly why you still win, and of course, give you some strategies that you can consider to help minimize the additional tax payable. Hello guys, Brad here from The Guided Investor. Welcome back to the channel for another video. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button because I post regular videos about how you can do more with your money. And today we are looking at tax on multiple incomes. Here in Australia, we have what's called a progressive tax system. And in short, this means that the more you earn, the more you get taxed. You can think of it a little bit like this. Our tax system is like a bucket, and your income is the water that goes into the bucket. This bucket has numerous holes in it, each hole getting larger the higher up the bucket you go. The holes represent the tax you pay from your income. Importantly, everyone's bucket is exactly the same. Every person has the right to fill the bottoms of their bucket and pay no tax. This is our tax-free threshold, and it's currently $18,200. If you keep filling your bucket above this line, you will generally start to lose some income to tax, ignoring tax offsets and deductions for the time being. From $18,200 to $45,000, the first hole appears, and the hole drains out 19% of the water in that level. From $45,000 to $120,000, a new hole appears in the bucket, and this hole is slightly larger. It drains out 32.5% of your water. From $120,000 to $180,000, another slightly larger hole appears, draining out 37% of your water. Once your income exceeds $180,000, any water above this level is subject to the largest hole where 45% of your water drains out. I just want to quickly point out that these holes or marginal tax rates are actually legislated to change next financial year. So that is from the 2024-25 financial year. Now I did a whole video about this. It was actually the previous video to this one. So if you want to learn more about it, feel free to go and watch that one. But in short, the government has promised to plug some of the holes. When you earn multiple incomes from multiple sources of employment, two buckets get filled at the same time. This means you don't pay a huge amount of tax along the way because the individual buckets are taxed individually as you go. This is done under the PAYG system. However, come tax time, the government combines the two buckets into one to see where the real level of water lands. For most people, this means you still owe extra tax. What's worse is if it's business income or investment income or any other source of income that hasn't been taxed already under the PAYG system, then when the two buckets get combined at the end of the financial year, you're gonna have to pay a lot more in tax because you haven't paid anything through the PAYG system throughout the financial year. Now that you understand that we have a progressive tax system and you understand that at the end of the financial year, your multiple buckets of income get combined to see where the true level of your water lands, I hope you can now see that saying that you lose all of the additional income to tax is just a fallacy. Yes, it may push you into a higher marginal tax bracket and you need to plan and prepare for that additional tax payable accordingly. However, you are still going to be better off. The most tax that you can lose from any additional income is going to be 47%, which is the top marginal bracket of 45%, plus 2% Medicare levy. Saying that you don't want to work a second job because you don't want to lose it all to tax is a bit like saying no to half a beer. Sure, it's not a full beer, but half a beer is still better than no beer. There are plenty of strategies that you can implement in order to minimize the amount of tax that you have to pay. So instead of avoiding earning extra money to avoid paying extra tax, why don't you consider some of these strategies which are going to help reduce the tax but also help build up your net asset position at the same time. Some of these strategies include the following. Making additional tax deductible contributions to super. Consider gearing strategies such as an investment property or a geared share portfolio to increase your tax deductions. Or if it's business income or investment income, consider how you can structure those assets in different entities with a separate bucket so it doesn't all get tipped into the one bucket. These strategies can be quite complex, so I would strongly suggest you do additional research and get professional advice if you need it. Don't get me wrong, I am not suggesting that we all need to go out and work a second job. There is a massive lifestyle factor that comes into play, and this is a non-monetary argument for not working anymore. What I am saying is that when considering a second income source, avoiding tax is not a good argument. If you want to be a high income earner in Australia, then you have to be prepared to pay more tax. And whether that higher income comes from multiple sources or comes from a single source, it makes no difference at the end of the day. But that's it for me today, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and I will see you guys in the next one.